I just heard someone talking about chaos and giving like a prophecy of where Earth is headed. And he said, uh, that in order for something new to appear on the outside, something has to die on the inside. And that was like, whoa. No, come here. Come here. I know. We want to use this as an opportunity to go crazy. Sit your butt. Hi. If you know, you know. I shared my video 2 days ago, I think, about the death of Chaos and Dolore, which was his unknown twin. We had seen it in that initial scan, and then she had appeared to have morphed into Chaos, which happens with twins and horses. But really, she was just hiding behind him the whole time, pretty much sharing a heartbeat. So it was not able to be detected in the scans that we did. And so I've been trying, I guess, to, in a way, make sense of it, but also learn from it. And I know that within chaos there is order, there is perfection, and there's just so many synchronicities that I'm going to try and share in this video that are just profound. I interrupt you in my new glamping tent. So I've just kind of set it up. Tonight's actually going to be my first night sleeping in it. So I've just built some furniture and I'm trying to figure out how to do the layout and everything. But I wanted to invite you guys to Ladybug sponsorship. And so this is a nonprofit farm, animal rescue farm that I live on and that I am a part of, that I'm a board member of. And so fundraising is like a core thing of the nonprofit. So we want to open the door to her care because that is number one right now. Like, she's still with us and it's a miracle, and she's only 6. And there's this supplement that really will help her with her condition of wobblers. It's a neurological condition. You can look it up. It potentially was triggered by West Nile, which is a mosquito borne illness, but it also could have been by birth. We don't know. She came with wobblers to the farm. And so there's this supplement that through research, it's been like the number one consistent thing that has made a difference. And so we're opening that option for a sponsorship on our website. Like, there's an option for all kinds of sponsorships for animals that I'm slowly building, but trying to get done. So people can sponsor like the hay, the food, like a premium, I think that covers all of it. But because Ladybug has a special condition, and like this is just probably one of many things that will help her, but this is the most significant one. Hers might have additional things, but also because she's my baby and I love her, and so I want to open the door to that. And we do this because we have 40 rescues right now, and so rescue horses, that is. We have like 56 rescue dogs. We have nearly 30 rescue cats, 5 goats, a henny, 2 donkeys, chickens. So we have a lot of animals here, a lot of mouths to feed. And yeah, so if you feel called to being part of Ladybug's team, then I will link that below. Thank you guys, and on with the video. And so the night before I had found the babies in the field, my client and I had a call, and he is a quantum physicist, I believe would be the term, and he was talking about chaos and how within chaos he's found that there is order. There's order within chaos, and that resonated. So it makes so much sense. Like, there's purpose in chaos. Chaos is beautiful. That's why I named my horse Chaos, is because chaos births beautiful things. It has to happen to make the space. And within this podcast, it was an interview on Almost 30 of the author of Gene Keys, which, if you know Gene Keys, it's super powerful. I've been very connected with Gene Keys ever since I discovered it a few years ago. And I definitely recommend finding out what your Gene Keys are, reading into them. The book is huge. And every time I read something in there, it just unlocks something within me, a knowledge within me, like deep within my spirit, really. And so I've been literally sitting with Ladybug, and she's doing so much better. She's really out of so much pain, which is beautiful. But I've been sitting with her and grieving with her and sitting with the babies and trying to connect with them. And yesterday was really like the first time that I had time to like just fully grieve with no time limit, with no one else there. Like everyone just either happened to or intentionally just left me alone in the paddock where it all happened. And I just sat there and cried and cried and cried for I don't know how long. But when I was finally ready, I could connect with them, with the twins. And it's like it's telling a story. This whole experience is telling a really divine story. And so the first thing that I was really hearing, like the message from the twins, is that they want us to run freely and run wild and free within the chaos and pain in life. And so chaos and pain go hand in hand. We named Dolore in that moment of grief when we found them in the field, and Dolore means pain in Italian. And so what I've been receiving is that pain and chaos come hand in hand, and it's not that we're meant to, get lost in that. We're meant to run wild and free. We're meant to embrace and love. The way that I love chaos and Dolore is the way we're actually meant to love the chaos and pain of life. The contrast of life, these harder, challenging things are what make the existence what it is. We need the contrast in order to experience the light that we are. And so at first when I saw Dolore in the field, and we'd realized that they were both ladybugs, which took a while to realize because there is another pregnant mare and they were together. We didn't know who was whose. We didn't know Ladybug had the twins. But when we realized, I really resented Dolore. I didn't feel so much love in my heart. I was really blaming her for killing Chaos. And because what happened is that Dolore was not, we had seen this in that initial scan, Dolore was not getting the nutrients that Chaos was. And so she had died within Ladybug's belly, and that eventually killed Chaos in there. And so in that moment, I was blaming the pain. I was blaming Dolore. And then after healing and grieving, I've, come to realize that they were both life. They were both, both so worthy of my love. And it wasn't the pain's fault. It wasn't Dolore's fault. That was nature, and that was divine order, and that was how it was meant to be. And another message is that, like, we can't always see the chaos and the pain, but we know it's there. And it's the same with the babies now. It's like I can't see them anymore, but I feel them so much. I feel them so alive within my heart. What was beautiful was during the burial ceremony, with just a few of the people on the farm who live here or who were a big part of this, were with me, and one of them had said that their message, and this person is like a psychic intuitive, and he had said that their message is like that they're running wild and free up there in heaven or whatever realm they're in. And in that moment, in the herd, in one of the fields behind us, our new horses that had just arrived, our new rescue horses, one of them, I guess, is my horse now, they were running wild and free. And that moment was just like, it's imprinted in my memory because it felt like a message from Chaos and Dolore on the other side, and I could just like see them in that moment running through these horses. And it's even more special that Indy just arrived like 2 weeks ago, and he's, my horse now, and I'm working on that bond with him, and I'm also grieving that I don't have Chaos in my life anymore, in that way. And so it was just so special. And so, Arlo, stop. You are just so special. Ladybug has been, feeling much better, but I can tell that she's grieving. Uh, I bring this, I don't know if it's weird, but it's also, to me, it's really beautiful. But my sweatpants that I wore the morning that we found the babies, they smell like the babies because I was sitting there. There was a dog, a little puppy who was jumping in my lap. It was really sweet, trying to comfort me. She's a very young puppy, but she had touched, I think, like the area of the babies. So my sweatpants smell like them. And every time I bring them over, Ladybug smells them, and I can tell she's like processing this whole thing. And we kept wondering why her blanket, horses wear blankets when it's too cold, why her blanket keeps ending up on the ground instead of hung on the fence. And then I realized she's smelling the blanket where the babies had touched when she gave birth to them. And so she's processing and she's grieving in her own way. And in my last long video, um, when I was talking about her at the end there and talking about how grateful I am for her and that we get to, live life together still, she had walked up behind me and like wrapped her head around me. And that's not something that she had been doing for a few months, really ever like that at least, because she was in so much pain and she was in so much dolore. And so now that is relieved. And the story of chaos, which I shared in that video as well, is just like his life was brought up by so much chaos. He actually was a cult. We always knew from the very beginning. And he, it was to save Ladybug's life, the purpose of breeding him. And then just like ever since Ladybug's been pregnant with him, stop, Arlo. There's been so much chaos on the farm, so much shadow work has come up, like really clear shadow work that I've moved through rather than like turning away from. I've chosen to move through with the support of my therapist, who's like also very, stop, Arlo, no, who's also very intuitive and really good with like a whole bunch of different holistic things, including business, which is amazing. So she's been helping me see these patterns, work through these patterns, and look at Arlo. He's like, freedom! Oh my goodness. I just finished my my fence yesterday actually, but it's been like kind of temporarily up, and so he is not a fan. He's never had like his own yard, but now he has his own yard and he does not know what to do. He hates it. And so Aslan, I've been practicing pronouncing Aslan. Arlo, come here. Come here. Arlo, come here. Come up here. You little brat, come. He likes to go eat stuff in the field that he shouldn't, and then he pukes it in my van. So Aslan, how do you pronounce it? I've been watching videos, I've been trying to watch Narnia, but Narnia, like they have an accent different than mine, and so they say Aslan, but then when I look up like other ways of saying it, when we're just talking about the Turkish word for lion, it's Aslan, and I prefer Aslan, so I'm trying to wire that in. Anyway, Aslan and his brothers and sisters will be born soon in the next like 2 weeks. And so Arlo will have a puppy as soon as he's got his shots and stuff in that yard. So I don't think he'll be so bored. And Zima, she's better behaved, and so she gets to roam the farm, and that's also her job, is to guard the farm. So they're not always together in the yard. So as much as this time is so painful, and I think this is important to note too, it's like I had seen a few comments of like talking about detaching from the pain of this experience. And while I understand that, and I think I've done that in the past, I have moved through grief a few times in life, not that much compared to other people, but when I've done it in the past, or even just like how I learned to deal with emotions as a child, was to shove it down and not feel it. And yesterday I could hear and see my mind trying to tell me like, this is too much, like you're being too much about this, like you're not even, like this isn't real, you're over dramatic, and like all these stories that were told to me as a child. And so I just sat with him and I was like, I hear you, but I'm gonna feel this shit because I have to. and I deserve to. And it's beautiful that I feel this. And so I just felt it for as long as I needed. And then today, when I went to go sit there in the same spot, because it all happened when I woke up the other day, and in the morning at like 8:23 in the morning, I was about to have my coffee. And so every morning now when I open my door, it's kind of like replaying. It was also very traumatic, like seeing the babies in the field. Like that was not a pretty sight to see. Like as beautiful as the babies were, it was very graphic. And so there's trauma to this too, like that kind of trauma. And so I keep trying to just repeat the pattern of waking up and going into the paddock with Ladybug, visiting where the babies were, and just sitting with it until I heal and I feel at peace. And because I released all of that yesterday and just cried and cried and cried, today when I sat with her and then I went and visited that spot, I didn't cry. It's not that I was holding it back, but I had felt like I had released it. And that's not to say it won't come back again in another way or instance. Like I think when Maisie, the other pregnant mare, has her baby, because we were going to raise the babies together, and yeah, when she has her baby, I think that will probably bring up a lot of emotions, because it'll just remind me that Ladybug's not going to have chaos, and that's okay. And I will allow myself to feel during that too. And then I'll allow myself to love baby Force, which is Maisie's baby. And with Aslan, Aslan, that's more life coming into the world. And like that's gonna be a beautiful thing too. Maybe that'll be emotional. I don't know. But it's really fascinating, interesting, nice to see where I am in my healing journey, an emotional journey, going through this, because I've done it in what I would consider such a healthy way and such a supportive way to myself. And also, this is separate, but it's a mirror of me, and I feel that like you guys mirror me back to me and vice versa. I'm mirroring you back to you right now. That's why you're here. The comments that I've received, I just sat in the field with Ladybug and would read them, and they're so beautiful and so healing and so heartfelt. And you guys have been with me like since the beginning. Many of you have been with me since the beginning of this, where I told you that I wanted to rescue Ladybug, where we found out Ladybug was pregnant, where we named Chaos, and I've taught many teachings on chaos and how it's necessary and how chaos has to happen for the phoenix to rise. That was the other thing in the podcast with Richard, the Gene Keys guy. He's talking about the phoenix rising after something has to die on the inside for something to come to life on the outside, is then the phoenix rises. And in my therapy and in my meditations, I've been seeing the phoenix a lot recently, and I meant to visualize the phoenix as I'm moving through my patterns and moving through and stepping into this version of me that I know that I'm here on earth to be. And so the phoenix just keeps coming up. But to hear, like, it was even fascinating, like the host, Krista, was saying to him, like, I want to talk about chaos and then we'll get back to the animals. And then they had this conversation about exactly that, the phoenix and something dying and all of that. And just like those those words, I was like, this is for me. This is really for me, this moment right here. And this is for you too. That's why I wasn't really going to make a video today. I didn't know if I'd be ready, but I also feel very centered right now and very connected with source, and like this is meant to be what it is right now. And so if I can leave you with anything today, it's that we're meant to run free, wild and free, with the chaos and pain of life. And even if you can't see it, it's a part of this existence. And we don't want to hate the pain or resent the pain for being there. We want to love it and accept it and embrace it and know that there is divine purpose and order within both chaos and pain, and that it has to happen in order to make space for what's trying to come through, in order to make the space for the phoenix to rise from the ashes. And that's what's happening globally, and that's also what's happening within many of us who are here, especially if you're here right now with me. So, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening to the story and for loving Chaos and Dolore and Ladybug with me, and also Arlo and Aslan and Zima and Duchess, my cat, and all the animals, my little zoo that just keeps growing and growing and growing. I feel so blessed to love so deeply and to feel so much true pain, and to be able to move with the chaos. That was another part of that podcast, is what they were saying, is to move in the wind of chaos, and to be, pretty much he was saying, to run wild and free within the wind of the chaos, rather than to get stuck in it and, feel like it's taken over you. It's happening for you. These babies, they were meant to happen this way. They were meant to be born. One of you, a few of you commented that. It's like there's a purpose for stillbirth, or stillborn, whatever it's called, so that they can imprint on the mother and me, I guess, in this case. And that, I think, was the case, because I kept asking myself, like, why did it have to happen this long, like, or this way? Why did they have to be in there for 8.5 months? Why, why didn't we catch it? Why didn't this? Why didn't that? Why didn't? And I was like, this is how it was meant to be. Like, this is exactly how it was meant to be. And that chaos, that baby being in there, it's what kept me on the farm. It's what kept me here in Italy. I don't know where I would have been right now if I didn't have this experience with him. And so there is complete order within chaos. There is purpose within chaos and pain. So let it heal you, let it move you, let it make you grow, let it direct you, and run wild and free in it. And don't get attached to what is and what isn't, how it is and how it's happened and what didn't happen, and all those things. In that way, I do agree with letting go of the attachment of how things could be or should have been in your perspective, but to feel it all, to move it through your vessel of your body, and to release it. Because if you just shove it down, if you just tell yourself it's too much, it'll live within you and need to come out in other ways, and then you'll get stuck in that wind of the chaos. So set yourself free by being an open vessel and accepting yourself fully and accepting life fully as it is, rather than wishing it was some other way. You're in the right place at the right time. You're meant to be here right now with me, and I love you and I'm grateful for you, and it's my honor to share this story with you. So I love you guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new here. Leave a comment if you feel called to do so. I really appreciate your comments right now. They are super moving, so thank you so much. If you want to sign up for one of my programs, I have all of those linked below as well, and I will see you in the next video.